Well, joining us now, the Rajya Sabha MP and spokesperson of the Trinamool Congress, Derek O'Brien. He joins us now. Derek, let me begin by asking you this. Your party has said that the apology letter written by the MP Taposh Pal is acceptable. How close, in fact, was your party to actually expelling him?
See, Vishnu, frankly, any person, forget about whether he's an MP or not, who makes these kind of statements, I mean, it does him or her no good. These kind of statements, Mamta Di used the word big blunder, we've used all kinds of words, but I think what really worked, if I may use that term, in favor of Taposh not being suspended in the party, was that the tone, the manner and the contrite tone expressed in his letter. I think it said the letter is not, see, a letter, Vishnu, cannot absolve you from all your sins. No way. I think there is no debate on whether a member of parliament or any Indian citizen should make those nasty, vicious, unacceptable, and they are in such bad taste, these statements. But I think not only there are two parts to this. One is, of course, the letter, and two is, in the last 24 hours, the man, for people like us who've met him, there is a sense of remorse, there is a sense of regret, there is a sense of pain. And the one or two of us who met him, and it's a difficult time for him, not only difficult for him and his family, and he's feeling gutted, and he should be feeling bad, and there's nothing wrong in him feeling bad and gutted, because he should never have said that. So I think the tone, the manner, and the contrite feelings expressed in the letter, where he not only apologized, but he said, please, I assure you I will not do this again. Now, one argument can be is that you'll commit a murder. Yeah, go ahead.
But let me edge in. Another way of looking at this is that if you make comments like this about rape in the Trinamool Congress, you can actually get away with it because no action will be taken and you'll be allowed to remain in the party. What does that say about the Trinamool Congress?
Vishnu, that's a good question, and I think let me try and give you my understanding of your question. I think Taposh's horrible comments, then his letter of apology, and then what the party, its unconditional apology, and in fact, this was not only Taposh, but the chairperson of the party had said, we want a truly unconditional apology, and we felt he also needed to feel the apology. Now, if something like this, God forbid, happens 4 months or 5 months down the line with MP X or MP Y, I think then the consequences can be much worse than this. But at the same time, having said that, one sec, Vishnu, having said that, and again, we condemn these kind of comments. Having said that, I think all people in public life have to be very, very careful today of how they conduct themselves in public because of technology. Sometimes you can even get into trouble. An MP can even get into trouble in a private conversation also if these things are said among friends. That also gets recorded on a mobile phone, you can get into trouble. So I think this is a very big issue. This is not only Trinamool Congress. What about people sitting, I don't want to make, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. There are people sitting in this misogynist kind of mentality is a cancer which has to be removed from our Indian social system, not only political system.
No, but Derek, this is something that has already happened in the past. It keeps on happening. So you're talking about other political parties, but you don't seem to have done anything to change things.
Vishnu, let me tell you, today the news peg is the Trinamool Congress MP. You can make a long list of all the parties. This problem exists in all parties.
No, but I come back, Derek, to the Trinamool Congress. Let's look at what happened, for example, in March 2014 when Deepak Dev, the film star, was quoted as having said about the Lok Sabha polls, right, March this year, it's just like getting raped, yaar, you can shout or you can enjoy. Right? In July 2012.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Chiranjeet had said...
Now in Dev's case, this young MP, I'll tell you. But
in July, no, 1 minute. In July 2012, Chiranjeet had said eve teasing is a very old thing. It has been going on for ages. One of the reasons behind the increase in incidents is short dresses and short skirts worn by women. I mean,
in Dev's case,
these are all deeply sexist remarks. So when you say actions will be taken in the future, why is action not been taken now?
He said this in a private conversation which got recorded. Later, in fact, I advised him, being the spokesperson, I said, listen, when you are a member of parliament, even a private conversation with 8 journalists, he was sitting and he was having an off-the-record conversation which got recorded. Bad luck to him, but even there he has to be careful.
No, but let's, I mean, I know when you make the point that it's not happened, it's not just the Trinamool, and it's happened in the past. In fact, I have a list of instances where other politicians have been affected. I accept that, but since you're the Trinamool leader, I'm asking you a specific question about your party. And I'm going to be asking others about this as well. Why haven't you taken action in terms of expelling him?
You know, see, Vishnu, I'll tell you what the problem is. The problem is that there are two problems. The Dev Adhikari case was a totally different problem. It was a small group of 7, 8. He thought he was having a chat with friends, and some buddy journalist of his, someone recorded it and got him into trouble. That's one issue. I think the Taposh.
Yes. Go ahead, Derek. I can hear you. No, but Derek, I don't understand one point. Now, you know, you keep talking about private conversations being made between one Trinamool leader, and we can debate the merit of this having come out of a private remark, but what does it say of a Trinamool leader who makes remarks like this in the first place? It's like getting rape, yaar, you can shout or you can enjoy. Does the Trinamool Congress endorse views of these leaders even if they're personal views?
No. Vishnu, I think it's very, I think the context of where Dev Adhikari said what he said long ago, you know, sometimes, I'll tell you sometimes what happens. Sometimes in a very private conversation, you have a different way of talking to 2, 3 private people. If someone recorded that conversation, I know this boy, he would never have said this publicly. He should have been more aware. But I think the bigger picture here is, it's not Trinamool, Congress, BJP, everyone has skeletons in their cupboard. The solution now is that we have to find the solutions and we have to come out. I'm here on your television channel, willing to answer your questions. I even took you through the process of what happened and what finally tilted it in favor of Taposh Pal. And today in 24/7 media, these things get highlighted. Sometimes they're recorded on mobile phones. And you know, I gave a 8-minute interview to a channel on this, on the statement. The channel didn't carry it, because I know, you know, it's the thing that we ourselves in public life have to be extremely careful and sensitive. Whatever be the provocation, Taposh Pal had no business saying what he said. I've met the man 3 times in the last 24 hours.
Derek, the fact of the matter is that he's not been expelled by a party, but I realize that you need to leave. And I'd like to thank you for the views that you've shared with us as far as Taposh Pal is concerned, and the larger issue as well. Thank you very much. But we're going to continue with this debate, looking not just at the remarks made by Taposh Pal, but also at what is a lasting problem, it seems, within our political system. Joining me now to debate this live, Mohammad Salim, leader of the CPM, Sambit Patra, spokesperson of the BJP, with me in the studio, Gaurav Bhatia, leader of the Samajwadi Party, Prem Shukla, executive editor of the Hindi Samna, Jayanta Ghoshal, bureau chief of Ananda Bazar Patrika, and Karuna Nandi, advocate with the Supreme Court. Thank you all very much for being with us. Karuna, let me come to you. Let's look at some of the words which Derek O'Brien said. He said that Taposh Pal was contrite, that the party has felt his apology, and yet it's important that all politicians remain sensitive. What sort of message does it say that you accept an apology like this?
You know, Vishnu, Mr. O'Brien, I think what happens quite frequently is that something is said on the campaign ground, something that incites violence, like in this case, or something that sends a message down the ranks that the state police can either ignore particular instances of violence against women, or that the cadres are allowed to commit certain instances of violence against women. And then in the TV studios, very civilized, very articulate, very liberal people like Mr. O'Brien come in and you know, say something different. We see this repeatedly. We saw this when Mulayam Singh Yadav ji said this on the campaign ground in Uttar Pradesh a while ago, and we have my colleague in the court, Gaurav Bhatia, come, he's a nice man, you know, and justify it. And this was denied. What happens though? A very clear message goes down the line to the cadres, to the state police, to allow or to perpetrate certain kinds of violence. Now, Mr. O'Brien, in his very articulate defense of the contrition of Mr. Pal, has conflated two things. He has spoken of misogynist comments, and he has conflated what Mr. Taposh Pal said, which was incitement to violence.
Yes.
These are, it's a range of kinds of speech, right? So if I say that you don't deserve to get promoted because you're a woman, that's sexist. That's something that shouldn't be said, but that's not something that somebody should go to jail for. If somebody says to his cadres that essentially it's okay if you go out and rape women of the opposite political party, this is not something, there is a range of punishments that can be given. An apology is not enough. At the very least.
Has now been filed. I think, let me try and complete that sentence of yours. The very least, Karuna, is that there needs to be action. There needs to be action against leaders like this. You know, we can sit here nodding our heads and we can keep talking about this endlessly.
Absolutely.
Right, but there is never, and so Samit, let me ask you this question next. You know, we can debate this and we can slam the Trinamool, we can slam the BJP, your own party, we can slam the Samajwadi Party or the Congress. But at the end of the day, there is a fundamental culture of our political class which somehow or the other deems it fit to say whatever they want about women.
No, I believe that's not the case. In this particular
I have
case
15
over here,
examples.
no, definitely must be having examples, and I would not defend people who have committed wrong. But the most important essence over here is as to why the kind of appalling sense that we feel about Taposh Pal is fact that Mr. Darren O'Brien was saying that it was a statement. It was not a statement, it was a threatening to the people of West Bengal, to the opposition of West Bengal. It was demeaning the democracy of West Bengal, where it says that I'll call my boys, they'll go on a rampage and they will rape and loot the villages.
It was violent and sexist.
Exactly.
And illegal.
I do not see it as
It
is not a sexist comment, it is a threat to the freedom of this country, threat to the democracy of this country.
No, I accept the point that
you
you're
demean
trying
the
to
democracy, you are eating into the opposition. You are saying that you will rape the woman of the opposition party just because they're opposing your things, and it comes from the top. Look, it comes from a member of parliament of the party, and they call themselves Trinamool, that is the grassroots. Here in the grassroots, they're shooting the grassroots right from the top of the tree. I think Mr. Bryan should have quizzed Mamata Banerjee.